Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats.
You know, the more you run away from something, the more you might find something that you never expected. And you know, if you're within the sound of my voice, that must mean you are in the seats with, once more, as always. My name is Dave Voigt, and I'm the host of this podcast where we sit down with a wide-ranging variety of entertainment industry professionals, and we pick their brain about current projects, state of the industry, how they got started, and so very much more in a light and in a conversational fashion. And you know, if you like how we do things around here, I'm going to go out on a limb and assume that you do, because quite frankly, you're listening right now. Please subscribe. Hit that subscribe button, give us the old like, give us a 5-star rating, basically wherever you get your podcasts. We're pretty much on every platform. You can find us over at Apple, Amazon, Spotify, Google, and plus we archive every single one of our episodes over at our In the Seats YouTube channel. So if you can give us a like and subscribe there as well, we would absolutely appreciate it. Also, don't hesitate to check us out on social media. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, and we're on Instagram at, you guessed it, at In the Seats for all sorts of fun updates. And finally, and I do dare say most importantly, please pay us a visit over at In the Seats, intheseats.ca, for all the latest and greatest from the world of film, television, basically the moving image at large. Because if we love to watch it and write about it and talk about it, we love it when you come by and read about it and listen about it. So please pay us a visit. On this episode, we got a fun one. It's hitting the Apple TV Plus streaming service today. It is season 2 of the Mosquito Coast. A really fantastic show, which I do recommend you check out. And I mean, you know, it's one of those things where I know people tend to avoid stuff that was a, you know, it's a book, it was a movie, no, it's a show, but it's really a fantastic piece of work that I think people really need to get into. It follows the story, the dangerous journey of a radical idealist and a brilliant inventor, Allie, who is played by Justin Theroux, who uproots his family from Mexico when they suddenly find themselves on the run from the U.S. government. And here in season 2, they've kind of sort of found a home for themselves, and things are starting to settle, but really they're not at the same time. It's a fascinating piece of TV, and I loved watching it. But more importantly, I loved talking with one of the stars of this show in advance of this season 2 launch, which kicks off, well, today. We had the unique pleasure of sitting down with the one and only Melissa George, and we asked her about getting the show renewed and being able to continue the story. And I geeked out a little bit with some fan stuff because she was on my favorite show of all time, Alias, so that had to happen a little bit. But we just talked about storytelling and just what made her want to be an actor, and so very much more. And when you get a chance, do check out the Mosquito Coast on Apple TV Plus when you get a chance. And if you haven't signed up yet, sign up now, because honestly, they are curating probably one of the best lineups of stuff to watch of all the streaming services out there. But first, please enjoy our talk with Melissa George, because between you and me, it's a darn good one. All right, well, Melissa, obviously, first off, just thank you so much for the time today, and congratulations on season 2.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Now, I mean, I'm curious, and I mean, if my timeline is right, like pretty soon after season 1 started airing, you guys got the news that season 2 was going to happen.
Yes.
Walk me through sort of that initial reaction, because I've got to imagine playing this character and having more time with her, I mean, especially given the source material and all the layers therein, must have been sort of a dream come true.
It was a dream come true, first of all, to get to season 1. And I had a feeling that the journey wasn't complete yet or finished. So I kind of deep down at the very beginning of season 1 knew that the journey would continue on, because we don't get to the Mosquito Coast yet.
Right, of course, yeah.
Hence the title. I was like, maybe they're going to let us.
There's a good shot. We got a second one in this, yeah.
Yeah, so, you know, sometimes you weigh up your odds, and in this particular case, we won that one. But yeah, I'm happy to sit with the character for this long and this many years. And you know, obviously, we had a big break there with COVID, which was, you know, we had a 5-6 month break, and then we got back into it. Then we promoted it, and then the scripts were coming in for season 2, and then we're back in the jungle. And I just wrapped season 2. So
now I'm curious. I mean, when you get an opportunity on something like this, that is a pre-existing entity, like the book, the movie. Like, did you avoid them, or could you have avoided them, or like when you're jumping into something like this, like, do you want to sort of build the character from the ground up, or do you try to sort of dive into what was before you figure out your own take on it?
well, I mean, no disrespect to the book or the film, but my character was called Mother, so she didn't really
Right.
her purpose wasn't very, very strong. But I remember when I received the script and I was out at a dinner in Paris and I was talking about it, everyone said, "Oh, the film." And I didn't know. It was a part of my life, maybe moving from Australia to New York or something like that. I missed, the book and the film. So I was like, I've never seen the film, still haven't. I have never read the book. For no other reason than I don't know if it would make me compare what the show was written to what was, and why did they pick the same things and not that part that I loved. And it's such an intense part and intense show that I didn't need the extra stuff going on in my mind. So for me, it was just a nice way to have a clean slate, create her by myself, because the dialogue wasn't the same dialogue that was written in Mosquito Coast, the show, as was in the book or the film. So therefore, there's no purpose for me to really base myself on somebody that's a real person, which she isn't. And I like that. I like the fact that it was a new thing for me, and it still is. I still have no clue about anything that was written or the film. And it's really, really no disrespect, because I know that it must be pretty great or quirky, or I hear mixed reports about, Harrison Ford and his T-shirt. I don't know. But I've heard, I like sometimes to hear things about something from others,
Right.
It's like a third person perspective. And I constantly hear certain things, even through season 2 of the other actors saying, "Oh, do you remember in the film?" And I'm thinking, "Oh, he dies." You know what I mean? Like in the movie. And I'm like, what? Like things that come out. That's a major spoiler, but I'm sure,
No, for sure. Yeah.
I haven't seen the film, but like in the film, I'm like, "Oh, wow. Okay. I did not know that." So all these little things I like discovering along the way.
Now, I'm curious from your perspective, what is it about sort of the long form of television that is such a draw and allows actors really a chance to shine? Because, I mean, obviously, I remember seeing you in Dark City and, working with David Lynch. But, the first time I really noticed you as an actor was obviously Alias. And sort of the fantastic arc you had there. Like, what is it about the long form of TV that really draws out the best in actors?
I think today more so we have the best film directors directing 1 hour, because when you're on set, it takes just as long to shoot an hour of quality TV as it does a film. And so you're getting everything. And also what I'm loving is I get frustrated sometimes when you shoot so fast on a film or whatever, because it's over, that feeling is over and you have to put it away and move on. This way I got to do 6 months of the same part and really discover the little pieces about her, really show it over a period of time. And that's pretty great. And also, every artist wants their work seen. I would say to have your work airing Friday, November 4th, all the way to February is pretty great.
Right.
How
when
amazing
people are
is
starting
that?
to lock themselves in and stay home and watch TV. Perfect.
Yeah, it's cold. It's nice and cold, and everyone's going to be watching it. So that's lovely. It doesn't take away from the beauty of cinema. That's ultimately the only thing I want to ever do. But it's nice. I can't say I sat here and had a choice either. This role came to me by luck, and also just being right for Margot, I'd say. But if it was a choice between this and maybe a tiny film, I would hopefully choose both. It's nice to do a show plus a little tiny film after.
Well, that dives into my next question, because I've loved seeing you in sort of a variety of different stuff. Obviously, 30 Days Tonight, but also I love The Lonely Place to Die. I thought that was a great movie.
Sure.
when you're looking at material, what is that hook that you need to be able to say yes to it?
I would love to get to the point where I have 10 projects on the table and it would be finally my choice to say, I'm choosing this because of this. I've had a very deep instinct in my career, like when I got In Treatment, for example.
Yeah.
That was a groundbreaking part because it was the first time America had seen 2 actors in a room that never leave the room and just talk for an hour. And as an actor, all you want is to not be upstaged by the scary house or the theme or the film or whatever. It's the dialogue. And I got that part. That was just I remember I got that part because instead of doing 3 pages for the casting, I did the entire show as a monologue. And they remember saying, the call was, she's crazy like Laura in treatment. We're going to give her the part. So sometimes I go the extra mile, but it's not like I sat there and had 10 projects. I take one project
Right.
and destroy it. Like, like destroy it to the point where, if I do this, maybe it will get me the part, So
I'm curious, how does the I guess the need to be on set and on location when doing something like this, because you're not shooting Mosquito Coast on sort of a back lot in Burbank and then going home at day. Like, you're on location, you're in the middle of it. Like, how does that sort of build sort of the camaraderie and sort of the village that it takes to really make something special in this business?
This set was one of the most beautiful I've ever stepped on. The Mosquito Coast set was real. Everything you saw was real. There was nothing superimposed. The cenotes were real. Our little house. I mean, that's the genius of the art direction and the production itself. And as an actress, you can imagine with that beautiful sort of color of the green and the water and the reflections. Even if I did nothing, I would probably look, like great. Like sometimes you have to do less because everything else sort of just accentuates. But this particular season was very much Margot, with a lot of emotion and a lot of dialogue and a lot of taking it back to its basics. And that's where I think I thrive, or my happiness is certainly when I get to do performance, more so than just sitting there doing action. So.
Now I'm curious, because I mean, obviously, just going back to sort of, again, I'm a fan of Alias. I'm a fanboy of that show. I will own that till the day I die. But it's also really one of the sort of linchpin early markers, especially in this sort of century, on how TV has evolved and how TV really got to be a lot more experiential and bigger. And I mean, I'm kind of curious, from your perspective, how has sort of the TV experience changed for you, especially over the past 20 or so years? Because I mean, you've had some really good arcs on some really good shows.
Look, back in the day, TV actors got TV jobs, right? Film actors got film jobs. And I remember when Matthew McConaughey won the Academy Award, and then the next day he released that he was doing True Detective. Am I correct with my titles? Yes.
Yeah.
He signed on to do television. That was his choice after he won the Academy Award. And I was thinking, oh boy, now the big Oscar winner movie stars are doing TV. I'm going to have to really, like be extra good, and I love that challenge. And then I went into like the slap, and then I kind of got these parts with movie stars that were in the middle of it. And I feel proud that I've crossed over into the television realm that's on a higher echelon with film stars that are taking Apple shows and Netflix shows and whatever. And I get to be part of, that level as well. Whereas before, TV actors just take TV actors. And I like the fact that my world is now mixed with the actors that I respect.
Absolutely. Now, last question, and it's a dumb one, but I always like to ask it. Is there a performance or something you saw as a young girl that sort of had the light bulb go off and made you want to get into this business?
Yes, there was, but it was quite a traumatic film, Last Exit to Brooklyn.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And it was on late at night. It was on late at night on the TV, and I was very, very young, and I was horrified. Like, whoa. And I said to my mum, what is that? Is it a documentary? And she said, no, that's acting. That's somebody pretending to be somebody else in a situation that's programmed and filmed to make it look real for the audience. And I said to my mum, I want to do that.
That's absolutely wild. But you know what? I love that answer. Keep up the good work, because this is a fantastic season. And I mean, I'm loving seeing you in it and the entire cast. And seriously, again, congrats on the work. And thank you so much for the time today.
Thank you.
And don't forget to visit our friends over at Bay Street Video for all your DVD, Blu-ray rental, or purchasing needs this summer, as they are still open for curbside and some mailing delivery as well. Over at 1172 Bay Street, Toronto, Ontario, Canada, you can give them a call at 416-964-9088. That's 416-964-9088. Or send them an email at baystreetvideoto@gmail.com for any of your DVD and Blu-ray needs.